Hey, what's good, all? How's it going? And welcome to, or back to, Unleashing episode 54. 54. This week we are going to dive into Guardians of the Galaxy. So, warning, spoilers ahead. We will be spoiling the hell out of the movie. So, if you have not seen it yet, you can either let us spoil it for you or you can wait. You know, it's up to you. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so first and foremost, of course, if you don't know me yet, my name is Jamie. And then on the other side of the camera / mic, which he can't even see my camera, but, you know, it's Ryan.
Oh, hey.
He's like, do.
Sorry, I was trying to pull up the thing on Facebook so I can see
nice.
the chat. Hello.
Yeah, it's like, hey, what's up, guys? Hi. So yeah, like I said, this week we are diving into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But first, of course, like we just start out every single episode with, #Nerdlife.
Yeah.
So dive into some of the nerd stuff we got into this week. Kind of a little more of our, it's not really personal side, because you don't want to know about that stuff. That stuff's, whatever, boring, you know. That's the relationship stuff. Yeah, we don't want to get into that. That's no. But what happened this week? What went on this week, Ryan?
Really not much for me. The only thing for me really is not free comic book day, but new comic book day every Wednesday. So went down to the shop, picked up some comics, but otherwise, nothing too nerdy. No other nerdy pickups or anything like that.
Nice. So, I mean, you really can't say not too much, because free comic book day is free comic book day. I mean, it's like a national holiday for comic book nerds, if you think of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, happens every year, the very first Saturday of May, every single year. So it's right around Star Wars Day, so it's like a great couple of days.
Oh,
you know. So what'd you pick up?
Well, I got a couple things. It wouldn't be Unleashing if I didn't at least mention my X-Men fandom.
Yeah.
So. It wouldn't be an official episode. So, just sticking with all the titles that are going in with this resurrection. The post IVX kind of thing. So, picked up X-Men Blue #3.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a good one. This has been a great series so far.
Mm-hmm.
Cullen Bunn is just like he understands these characters and he's really nailed them. And I really wasn't a big fan of the time displaced X-Men leading up to it, so he's done a good job of turning me around and getting me kind of onto the team. And then picked up one that you also picked up, which is Weapon X #3. So just another one of the resurrection titles that's the X-Men tie-in. So this one, I haven't had a chance to dive into that one yet, but it's been a good series so far, so excited to see how #3 goes. And then of course all new Wolverine #20. So I've really been digging Laura as Wolverine with regular Logan being dead in continuity right now, so she's killing it. And Tom Taylor, the writer on this one, he's been doing a great job too. So this one I like. I didn't pick up the Old Man Logan just because I'm not too fond of I'm not really too fond of the direction that the story's been going, so I'm just letting that one cool down. I think there's a new writer that comes in like an issue or two, and they're relaunching the whole new series, so I might jump in there and check it out. But yeah, so those are 3 of the books I got, and then I got a couple other books that are older. The way that my comic book shop works is they order like 2 months in advance. And so I'd only set up my pull box about a month ago. So a lot of the stuff they actually had to go back in special order for me to make sure.
Yeah.
So this is one that came out a couple weeks ago, but it's a Valiant comic. It's a little mini-series. It's called Britannia, We Who Are About to Die. It's kind of like a historical fiction set in the Valiant universe. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I actually haven't read much that Peter Milligan's done in the Valiant universe, but I liked his work on Ecstatics that he did with Michael Allred, so that's pretty cool. And then the Button Part 2 Flash 21, not the lenticular or anything like that, just the regular cover.
Should have got the lenticular. Those are they're badass looking.
Yeah, but it's like $1 or $2 more. And if I ever have like a cool comic book wall, I might go back and pick them up. Like I don't have a cool wall like you.
You should pick it. At least get the one for Batman 22 because that one's sweet because it switches between the Reverse Flash and Batman.
That one's pretty freaking sweet. And then I picked up No World #1. So
okay.
Just an Aspen comic, kind of deals with their new shared universe that they established last year. So just something along those lines. It's written by Scott Lobdell, who's one of my favorite writers. He was the guy that wrote X-Men and Generation X in the early 90s, and the guy himself is fairly controversial, like outside of comic books and stuff, like at cons and everything, his behavior and whatnot. But I tend to overlook a lot of that stuff. So. His writing I've always dug. He's actually the dude that writes Red Hood and the Outlaws as part of Rebirth right now for DC. But he also does a lot of the Aspen stuff. So I'm pretty excited to check this one out and see what it's all about as well.
Nice.
So those were my pickups today. There's a couple more that they had ordered. Like I was supposed to get Eternal Warrior Awakening, which is another Valiant series. It's a Valiant ongoing that launched this week with a #1, but the shop wasn't actually ordering any in, so again, they had to special order that one for me, so it should be here in the next week or two. And then also the Funko Universe Ghostbusters. So
Okay.
I should get those hopefully in the next, like I said, in the next week or two. So yeah, excited to dive in and see what those are all about.
Nice. Well, I definitely got my fair share this week too. Of course, I got Weapon X just like you.
Nice.
I'm moving it the wrong way on the camera, so people are going to be like, wait, what? And then I picked up X-Men Blue also.
Very cool.
I definitely like that series.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Another Marvel comic, which I picked up because I'm kind of curious about it, just because of dealing with Luke Skywalker and all that, and that's the 6-part mini-series for the Screaming Citadel. So I think it's 6 parts. I think I saw it. So I could be wrong, but yeah, so I was kind of just interested in it to see what it's all about and everything. So and then one of my ongoing series that it's only 6 issues in, but I've gotten every single one because it kind of led off from the Justice League versus Suicide Squad comic, and that's the Justice League of America one that's with Batman leading them, and you've got like Lobo and Killer Frost and lots of good characters involved with it. It's very interesting. So
right on.
I highly recommend it. I've liked it a lot. I mean, a lot. So the first story arc just finished, and they just started the second one. So
right on.
And then the next couple ones are kind of some crossover ones that I picked up. And first one is Planet of the Apes Green Lantern. So that's been a hell of a series. I've really liked it a lot. This is the 4th out of the 6 of them that they're doing. But yeah, it's been very interesting. They've had a new color ring involved in this series. One that's never been in Green Lantern before. So if you're a fan of Green Lantern, all that, there you go. I highly recommend it. Then Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Adventures. And I picked up the variant cover, because it's kind of cool because it's got the color in the background of like Gotham and everything. It's kind of darkish, like you would see in the animated series, stuff like that. But like all the turtles and Batman are kind of black and white, except for the turtles' eye covering little bandanas there.
Oh, cool.
So, but this is the last of this 6-issue miniseries, which kind of stinks. And then picked up Star Trek Green Lantern Stranger Worlds. This is, of course, kind of like, I guess you can consider it Volume 2, because it's, from what it sounds like, is they're going to be doing this a yearly thing.
Oh, nice.
Because it's a continuation on from the first. So it's kind of like part 2. So I don't know if they're going to be part 3, whatnot, but to me, that's what it seems like. Oh, what's up, Dale? How's it going? His girlie's jealous of him because of the comics. She found his and already got through Zelda.
Oh yeah, that's
Nice,
awesome.
nice. And then the final comic I got, which is a one-shot, and it goes along with, if you haven't seen the podcast or vlog yet that we dropped from this past weekend for Nerds of the Round Table and then Free Comic Book Day vlog, I picked up the one-shot of the Ghostbusters, one with the Stay Puft on the front. I couldn't pass that up. That was
Nice.
That was a must pick up. I mean, I got the turtle one on Saturday. So this one is, yeah. And it's cool because, I mean, I'll show a brief little thing in it. But, yeah, if you're watching on here, you can see it's all Funko characters. So it's not your normal drawings that you get and whatnot. So it's pretty sick. I like it. It's a very kid-friendly comic. I can tell you that. That's one thing with it. So yeah, that was this week. I mean, of course, I went through started reading some of my other comics from Saturday. I got through the first trade, Flash, and let's just say last night, it's lucky that I came home when I did, and I fell asleep on the couch for like an hour and a half because I could not put it down when I sat down in bed later on. And stop reading it because it was that good. I mean, it is an incredible series so far, and I'm 8 issues in, not counting issue 21, which I've already read because of being part of the button. So
Sure.
But I'm glad it's on my pull list now for sure. So
Nice. Yeah, it's been so good. The creative team behind it has been just phenomenal. Like they've been on fire. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely one of my favorite among all the various Rebirth titles out there. Like definitely Flash has been right at the top.
Yeah. So, do you have your sound on? Because I'm getting a little sound. Do you have the video? Because I'm hearing some feedback of my voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, an echo. And mine's turned off, so weird.
No, it's not coming up on my end.
Huh. Weird. It's gone now, so weird. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into the rest of it. Probably maybe tomorrow night or something like that. I'll read some more. Hopefully. I got a lot of catching up. I have about 30 plus comics to read right now that I've just picked up within the last, between last week and now that I haven't read. So
yeah,
actually even more than that maybe because it's 2 trades. I got the Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern, and then also the Titans one. So
nice. Both of those also 2 thumbs up from me on those. So
yeah. And I want to read. I almost picked up, and I might pick up next week. They started that 4-part mini series for the Titans, Teen Titans, Deathstroke, and then what is it? The Teen Titans annual, but it's that Lazarus contract,
right?
That they just started. It seems like that's going to be pretty sweet, so I'm kind of tempted to pick that up. So, but we'll see. I only got so much time to read all these comics.
Right. No,
I'll eventually get to it anyways because I'm going to keep the Titans going. I'm just going to wait till the trades come out.
Yeah.
So, more than likely. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyways, so with that being said, any final things for #Nerdlife before we move on to our spoiler part of the episode?
No, I don't think so. It's been a pretty quiet week for me. I've just kind of been flying under the radar,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, if you're watching now and if you want to tune out now, it's definitely you wouldn't hurt our feelings. But we're about ready to dive into Guardians of the Galaxy. It is going to be spoiler filled, left and right, everything about it, everything that if you haven't seen it, you definitely don't want to know, or if you do want to know, you'll go in knowing all about the movie before you actually see it. So, With that being said, of course, I saw it last Thursday. You went and saw it last night. I am
did, yeah.
going in, on Friday night for a second time. Taking the girlfriend and I are going because she really wants to see it. So
Nice.
because she really liked the first one. So I'm like, okay, I won't complain. I won't complain. So
Yeah, it was so fun. Like seeing that one twice is no problem.
So your initial reaction, what did you think?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it, absolutely. I don't think there was a single part that I didn't like. Now, I didn't see the first one in theaters, so I don't think I ever really was one of the people that got to really capture the magic of the first one. You know, I didn't see it until it came out on Blu-ray. You know, the first time I watched it was on my iPad, and then I watched it with the wife a little bit later on the TV, and then I think I watched it maybe once or twice on my phone, like at work or whatever. So I've seen it a couple of times, but I really loved the first one. It was, you know, a near flawless film, one of the best Marvel, you know, MCU movies made, you know, to date. So obviously matching that movie was going to be a challenge, and most people that I know that have seen it say that they really like it, but that it just didn't quite match the magic or the heart of the first one. But I didn't get that when I first saw it because I didn't see it in theaters. So this one, to me, I felt that it had all kinds of magic and a lot more than you would expect from a sequel. You know, part 2 of a series, and I liked it a lot. Like I said, I don't think there was a single part that I didn't like. I think every joke that they told landed, every emotional beat hit, and it was just a fun ride from start to finish.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was great. And you're right, I was one of the ones that said it didn't have the same emotional impact, you know, as that first. That first is where the team was built. It was, after seeing this is, it's kind of like the Avengers. You know, to me, it felt like that, where the first one was so impactful because you've got this team coming together and they're, you know, doing something different, where this, you know, these are a band of misfits, all these, you know, people that you would never expect to get along with each other. They're come together and done all that stuff and, you know, save the universe. And, you know, you found out a lot of stuff, but there was still a lot of stuff that we didn't know about. I mean, don't get me wrong, the second Avengers is nowhere near as good as how Volume 2 is. I mean, nowhere near.
Yeah.
I mean, Volume 2, hand over heels. I mean, it's this, in my opinion, is in my top 5 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, the MCU there. So, overall, you know, yes, it was great. It was amazing. I mean, loved every minute of it. There was so much great comedy. And I compared it to, I did my non-spoiler review, and I compared it to a movie that I had just seen the week before, which was King Arthur, which that hasn't come out, and actually comes out this weekend. But I got a very early preview of it, and I compared it in a way that this one was there was a lot of comedy moments, but there was also a lot of dramatic moments in a sense. But it was done right. They put the comedy in the right places. They put the dramatic moments in the right places. Where, like King Arthur, it was the complete opposite. It was very bipolar. Like they were trying to force comedy and all this stuff. This wasn't forced. You know, this was very well done. They put the jokes in the right spots. They did the, you know, all the different things, you know, in the right spots. You know, so... but yeah, no, it was overall a great movie. So, with that being said, that's it for the episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so yeah, we both liked it. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. They're like, wait, what about the spoilers?
We said it was good.
Yeah,
like,
that was
what more
spoiler.
Do you want?
We
spoiled how good it was.
Yeah, exactly. No, so... It definitely had a lot of impact. Tell me something that you didn't really like about the movie. If there's anything.
I guess maybe like the opening sequence when you had Baby Groot dancing and all that action's going on in the background. It felt very I don't know, fan servicey, which is fine. Like this is the second movie. Like the first one was such a phenomenal hit that obviously it has ravenous fans. So it's kind of like a, hey, thanks for coming back to the movie. Here's that adorable little baby Groot that everyone just can't get enough of. Mm-hmm. So here he is dancing, being cute. But like I really wanted to see him fight the monster, and not like fuzzy in the background, but like up close and personal. But I mean, to me, it's like the parts that I don't like are. They're more nitpicks than criticisms. You know, it's not like I hated that part. I'm just like, well, you know, like it was cute and all that, but I don't know. Like my kids aren't babies anymore, so I'm to the point again where like I don't like babies again. So like baby Groot.
Yeah, he fits well. I mean, I will have to say that they didn't overdo him though. I really thought they were going to overdo him hardcore, and they didn't. You know, so which was great. You know, they fit him well enough. With that, I mean, my one thing that I didn't like, that I would say my biggest gripe of it is it felt to me that they were trying too hard to keep it out of, you know, keep it away from all the other movies and keep it in its own timeline. You know, there was a lot of parts where they were trying to, you know, force it so it just didn't feel like they wanted to make it feel like it wasn't part of the rest of the MCU. When, you know, as good as well as anyone else, anyone that's read the comics or seen any of the movies or any of that stuff, it's all those characters are going to be a part of it. We already know they're part of Infinity War. I just felt like they shouldn't have had to force that part. You know, to it. You know, it just very forceful in that way that, like, hey, we don't want this, you know. James Gunn's like, I don't want it part of the MCU, really. I want to keep it in its own little timeline where it's not going to do anything. But, you know it's going to. I mean...
Yeah.
We might even see Aisha in, you know, Infinity War. I mean, we know we're going to see all the Guardians minus, you know... my favorite character of the whole movie.
Right.
But
no, I mean, we should. I mean, as far as the timeline goes, I mean, this movie takes place like 2 months after the first Guardians. Like this one, like, you know, Guardians came out in 2014. That's when it takes place. This movie also takes place in 2014. It's like a month or two after they come together. So we know that in, you know, 2018, give or take, that's when we're getting Infinity War. Mm-hmm. So... yeah, I mean, they tied it in, you know, in the post-credit scenes and stuff the way that they had to by teasing a particular character. But otherwise, yeah, they kept it very separate. Like, even the fact that, you know, he was on Earth and they made references to Earth, like, they didn't make references to anything else, you know, and they could have given us a throwback or a nod or something to at least one of the characters in the MCU, and they didn't. And yeah, you're right. They're kind of like, we're going to pretend that they don't exist right now.
Yeah, and it's like that was my one main gripe. Other than that, I really didn't have anything that, you know, really. I mean, there was a few minor things here and there. I kind of felt that Gamora was kind of, I guess, too femaled up in a sense, if you know what I mean. Like, making her way too emotional in this. She's supposed to be a badass killing machine in here, and we saw it in the first one. And then all of a sudden, this one, it was like, yeah, we saw some fight stuff and everything, but it seemed like she was a little bit too emotional for who she's supposed to be. You know, and I want to see her be badass. I want that female character that's going to be in these Marvel movies that is just going to kick half the dude's ass. You know, if they say something to her, she's going to turn around and knock them flat on their ass, and they won't get up for a couple hours. You know, and I want to see that, and it felt like she won't do that anymore now. She's kind of calmed down in a way.
Yeah, I think it's to the point where, you know, she finally feels like she has a family. You know, being raised by Thanos, she had to, you know, fight to survive and all that. There was no love. I mean, she didn't even feel a connection to her, you know, quote unquote sister, and air quotes here. Yeah, Nebula. So it's to the point where it's, you know, she finally is able to have a life and be a sentient creature and have her own thoughts and feelings and stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be a little, a little bit of getting to know who she is and everything. And I think we're kind of seeing that. She did at least a few parts let herself be a little vulnerable around Peter Quill. When they were dancing and everything, and like my favorite song in the whole movie, "Bring It On Home to Me" from Sam Cooke is playing. Like that was a cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I liked it because it was like you said, like she should be the badass character who's like she'll freaking drop Drax on his ass. She's such a badass. But it was kind of nice to see an unexpected side of her, especially in a movie where we're getting all this emotion from Peter and from Yondu and from Rocket and all that. That it would be really easy to overlook, Gamora's emotional growth, but they still were able to give her enough of a story that we really got to see her as a character grow in this one as well.
Yeah. What did you think about Mantis?
Oh, dude, Mantis was awesome.
I mean, she was like the dumb blonde of the movie. It was kind of funny. I mean, she was like that Valley girl in the movie. It was, yeah.
Oh, and partnering her up with Drax was perfect.
That was great. He was so hideous, so ugly. I was like, yes, it's great.
She comes in to wake him up because she has to confess, like, you guys are in danger. And he's like gagging in the bed.
Yeah, it was great. I was laughing my ass off. I couldn't help but laugh the whole time. Other characters. So we've got, of course, Drax. I mean, he was funny in this movie. I mean, he had a different side to him. He was still the hardcore, like, I mean, you could tell that he trusts the team a lot more than he did, of course, the first one. But what did you think of Drax?
Dude, I liked Drax a lot in this one, too. Yeah. I mean, he was kind of funny and because he's, stupid. Even to the point where, like, maybe it's not even that he's stupid. It's like, you can probably chalk it up to, a type of autism, where he doesn't understand that he kind of like Billy in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where they don't quite understand the humor. So it's not so much that they're stupid. It's just that there's a difference there.
Yeah.
And so you kind of saw that, where it was like, yeah, the joke went over his head and he's like, nothing goes over my head. I'm too fast. I'd catch it. And in this one, we kind of see him like acknowledging the fact that sometimes he doesn't understand that. And so it actually is able to put him into even funnier situations. I liked him a lot. And he's just, I mean, you can kind of take your cue like, all right, when am I supposed to laugh? Well, anytime Drax is laughing, it's probably safe for you to laugh because the character's got a great sense of humor in the whole movie. And I liked him a lot. And to see his growth, where he's, like you were saying, always with the, you're hideous and you're disgusting and all that. But like by the end of the movie, he's able to admit to Mantis, hey, I still don't think that you're attractive, but like you are very beautiful on the inside. Like that was great.
Yeah, it was. Then we got Rocket, of course. We saw the parts with Rocket and we saw it, but to me, he kind of seemed like almost a secondary character a lot of the time in there,
Yeah.
I don't really have the memories from watching the movie of him like I did in the first one, to me.
No, he was good.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good. He had a lot of funny jokes, but with what they did with Yondu, it was kind of unnecessary to have both of those characters. So Rocket was kind of relegated to, the busybody, the mechanic, the guy who's taking care of Baby Groot, but they don't really necessarily need him for the emotional impact because his emotional impact is witnessing a different character's emotional story. And we'll talk about that one when we get to that character. But yeah, he wasn't like an A character or, a main character like he was in the first one. Like I said, he kind of took second fiddle, and I think that in the next one, obviously, we'll see that growth because of what happened with this other character that he kind of ended up identifying with. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. But yeah, of all the different characters, he's probably the one that had the least amount of screen time and resonance this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, I mean, you mentioned Yondu. He was my favorite character of the movie. I loved every minute of him. I mean, he was the star of the movie, Michael Rooker was just phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal. And he had such an emotional impact, yet he was funny. He fit in on with the team once once he joined. And then, of course, unfortunately, they killed him off at the end. I mean, I did not expect that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You know, that was definitely unexpected. So, but yeah, I was like, I loved seeing him in that whole thing. So,
yeah, it was good, and probably my second favorite song on the soundtrack, "Come a Little Bit Closer" by Jay and the Americans, was playing during the whole scene where he and Rocket are being held captive on the Ravager ship, and they're able to get out thanks to Baby Groot. And they go to the command center, and he's just taking out all the Ravagers with his arrow.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's such a great scene. Like,
Dude.
that was like probably one of my favorite. Like, I'm not saying like this necessarily that this movie's like my favorite scene in all the MCU, but like, has there been a better scene in an MCU movie yet?
I don't know. That's really. I mean, one of my favorite scenes in most of the MCU ones have been, it was like from Civil War, the airport scene. I love the airport scene. That was phenomenal. But yeah, you're right. That's right up. I mean, that's one of the best scenes.
I mean, the airport scene in Civil War is fantastic. It's just a great sequence, but it's made up of a lot of different smaller scenes, and some of them I can do without. Like a lot of the Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye stuff, it's like, all right. Like, I'm not emotionally tied to these characters. It's cool they're there, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were some great scenes, where like Spidey in the airport fighting Falcon and Winter Soldier, or like when Ant-Man becomes Giant Man. But those are parts of a whole. As far as just like one scene from start to finish, that scene where they open the door and they get out and they're walking and it's just freaking Yondu's just strolling, not even breaking his stride, not even blinking, just whistling as he's walking while this awesome song is playing, and you just see the arrow just flying around, and there's these just bodies of dead Ravagers just falling
all
down
over. Yeah.
And it's just there's 30 bodies just slowly falling down. I'm like, oh, come on, like, forget it. Like, this is like the most fun I've had in any scene in an MCU movie that I can remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's, I mean, it was an amazing scene. I mean, it was. I was trying to think. There was some other movie we recently saw that had a great scene, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was about as badass as Darth Vader's hallway rampage.
Duh. That's what I'm thinking of. I'm like, it's right there, and I can't think of what it is. Yes, Darth Vader, when he came out of the, after he flew away from the Death Star, and his TIE fighter there, and literally.
No, dude.
I know.
How dare you?
I'm kidding.
Never joke about Vader. No, you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, we won't get into all that, but yeah, no, that was a badass scene.
And he's got the freaking mohawk too, and it's so good.
Did you hear their dumb excuse of why he didn't have the mohawk yet?
Because
he was going to run into too many doors.
Oh, like the antenna with Mantis?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Like, really? Come on. Seriously? Dude, okay, whatever. But yeah, no, he was phenomenal in here. Who else do we have? We have, of course, Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. We saw a side of him that, there's more to him in the movie, I know, than what we know than what it shows in the comics. Because the comics, he never had the type of powers, celestial powers, that he was trying to form.
Right, yeah, it's his father's like the Knife King or something. I forget. It's something like King of Knives or something weird like that. I don't know. Yeah, in the comic books, his dad is not freaking Ego. His dad is not a celestial. Yeah. So in here, of course, it's definitely different. So I mean, of course, he loses his
powers, or we think he loses his powers at the end. But yeah, he was, which we'll get into that here in a second. But yeah, he was great. I really enjoyed him in this movie. We saw that different aspect of him, and it was cool to see how he kind of got stuck in the moment, like you see a lot of people do, and then it took his friends to talk him out of it. Like, hey, you're making a mistake. Like, this is a mistake. Which, speaking of that, going back to Yondu real quick, child trafficking, that was interesting. That was, that was definitely interesting. Them talking about him child trafficking.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But yeah, Peter Quill, I liked him a lot. I thought he lived up to the part. He was great for the lead. He's, Chris Pratt's a great actor. He's perfect for the part.
Exactly. And they gave him enough action, at the beginning and then again at the end and everything, so that you're invested in his emotional journey throughout, the middle of it. You feel that pain and that sense of betrayal and even that hatred where where Ego reveals what he did, what his plan is and everything, and like you feel that, like Chris Pratt really does a great job of pulling that forward. But same thing with the stuff that happens before that, where he discovers, holy crap, this really is my dad. Oh my gosh, I have these powers. And they make the end, they have the energy, and they make the ball, and they're freaking playing, like they start to play catch, like, oh my God. Like, just such a great moment, it's... People say that this movie didn't have as much heart as the first one, but it's like, come on, like every single one of these characters just had so many great, like, they seem like, they're real people. Like the emotions that these characters have and the performances from these actors, like I think there was a lot of heart in this movie. And
there was a ton. There was. I mean, it was about family. It was definitely about family, but that's how the first one was too, because the first one was about all of them coming together, becoming a family, their new family. Not the other family members out there, like that we've seen and that we saw in this one and everything. Which, speaking of that, moving into Ego. Yeah. I like Kurt Russell. I really like him a lot, and I liked him in here. I like that they didn't try and overdo his planet side too much, or anything like that. They kind of kept it with just him, and that was it, But yeah, when they showed the planet and then they showed the face on the front of it, I was oh, that was awesome. I was like, yes.
It was such a cool part.
Yeah. I was like, that is perfect. Perfect. And then him, what'd you think?
I thought Ego was awesome. I mean, like you said, I freaking love Kurt Russell. I mean, from like a year and a half ago, before they cast Cable even, I'm like, dude, they should cast Kurt Russell because the dude's freaking awesome. And then when they announced that he was cast in Guardians, and then eventually when they announced that it was Ego, it's like, oh man, how are they going to do that? And by using, a regular vessel and stuff that he's controlling from the planet and everything, like that was a really cool idea. Like that was not something I was expecting. Like I thought maybe he was like a drone of some sort, because obviously we knew in the trailers that he shows up as, Ego, the person, is like, I'm your dad, Peter. Like, but to pull him back onto the planet and everything, and like make him just this living extension of the planet, like that was a really cool idea. And just freaking Kurt Russell, man, like he's great.
Yes, he is. He's a great actor. He is a great actor, and he was definitely perfect for the role. Who else do we have? We have we got this Aisha and her whole race. How do you say it again? Sauvignon?
The Sovereign.
The Sovereign.
The Sauvignon, yeah. The Sauvignon Gold.
The Sauvignon Blanc. Sovereign. They were interesting. They were definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I immediately got a little chub when we got the video game reference there, when they're all sitting there, flying their as drones in the ships, and it's like Galaga,
Yeah.
Type thing. I was like, that is sick.
That was pretty cool.
It was so awesome, and they're just all one after another getting taken out. I was like, yes.
'Cause they give you like the overhead shot of the like arena where they're all in their little machines, and you just see really all these different screens going red, 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 red. It was so good.
Yes, that was awesome. And if you didn't notice, there was a lot of video game references throughout the whole movie. I mean,
dude.
Especially at the beginning when they're waiting for the monster to show up, and he's sitting there playing that little football game. Everyone at first thought when they saw the trailers that it was some like he had souped it up and it was some kind of like tracking thing or something like that. No, it was just the little handheld football game. I used to have one.
Electronic football, yeah.
Yeah, I used to have one. Oh, yes, but I liked Aisha and all them. I think for the average viewer, it might be a little confusing because they're supposed to be known as the perfect race, and and all that. And if they're the perfect race, how are they getting their asses handed to them? Not once, but twice in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. In all fairness, ego is pretty damn powerful, but yeah.
But the Guardians did it right at the beginning. So it's one of those things. Like, the average person would be like, okay, how are these guys getting their asses handed to them? But,
well, it's like, are they actually superior, or do they just think they're superior? Because clearly they just think it, because they're a bunch of freaking douchebags, like Rocket says.
Yeah. That is true. Definitely true. I mean, it's hard to say which way.
Yeah.
What other characters do we have out there before we dive into some more, I guess, just spoiler stuff about the story and whatnot?
As far as like main characters, Nebula. Nebula. She had some cool story beats in this movie. I kind of liked seeing her kind of not necessarily becoming a good guy, obviously, but turning on Thanos and being like, hey, fuck this guy. He screwed me over, and I want revenge. So that was pretty cool. Yeah,
and it was interesting to see that the reason why she kept losing, body parts and getting replaced by different, robotic parts was because every time, her and Gamora would fight and she would lose, Thanos was like, okay, we need to make you better and stronger so you can beat your sister, type thing.
Yeah, and how she grew to resent Gamora from it.
Yeah. But it's funny because I was watching an Easter egg thing before this, and in the prequel comic for this movie, she cuts off her arm. But in the movie, they say, James Gunn has her say that Thanos takes the arm.
Right, yeah. Pulled one of her eyes out, one of her arms out, yeah.
Yeah, but in the prequel comic, it's different. Huh. Which is interesting. Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. But that was.
Kraglin was cool.
Yeah.
The one Ravager that stayed loyal to Yondu.
Well, there was two. There was the other one that they killed off.
Well, there was a bunch of them. Yeah, but it's like the one that
lived,
managed to not die.
Yeah, because they had what's his name, the other one that's played by the guy from Sons of Anarchy, that I recognized him from. But I knew he died because I saw something about it before the movie. But he was he was kind of a little bit more of a main character for a little bit there, but that's that main secondary character. But what about Taserface?
He was all right. I like that. I just like Rocket making fun of him and everyone's laughing.
Everyone's just he's like Taserface. Who the hell came up with that name?
Yeah,
Taserface.
He's like, that's the coolest thing you can come up with.
He was ripping him a new one. It was great. It was great. I was laughing my ass off. My ass off that whole time. But he was a very short-lived character, but he's not big in the comics. He just showed up in the comics not too long ago, at least in comic history. So that's fine.
That's
that he's
cool.
gone.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's now to some more spoilers. What else do we have here that we can kind of dive into? Well, I don't want to go too much longer on this, but
Well, I mean, there's some cameos.
yeah. So, what are some of the cameos that we had?
Well, there was the one that was in movie, and then of course they did it again at the end, which was Stan the Man.
Well, and actually, I want to talk about him for a minute because we found out more information about him before the movie. So we learned that he has been playing the same exact role in every single movie. So he's kind of, which is interesting. People had theories about what he was doing and all that stuff, but yeah, every single movie, at least Marvel MCU movie, we don't know about the Fox ones. You can use it in the Fox ones too because it works.
Yeah,
it works for them. But he's not a watcher, but he is like he kind of reports to them. He's kind of like one of their henchmen in a sense or something like that.
Yeah, I think technically in the credits he's listed as a Watcher Informant.
Yeah, Watcher Informant. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
So, which that works for all movies, in the Marvel and Fox universe. I mean.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, I didn't expect that, and no one expected to see the Watchers in Marvel in an MCU movie.
Right.
Because everyone thought, it seems like more of a, Fox thing. And obviously it's not just a Fox thing, so.
Yeah.
But I guess
you're right.
The word is that they do have an agreement for those larger characters like that. That's why they were able to use Ego. Because Ego should be just under Fox, but they worked on some kind of agreement.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of these cosmic characters, a lot of them are going to have roots in Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was a really big cosmic comic way back when, obviously with the Negative Zone. So that's kind of why they were able to get Ego, and that's why they were able to get the Watchers and everything. Because a lot of these characters first showed up in Fantastic Four comics. So with Marvel, at least with the MCU going, cosmic and everything, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to hear more and more. I mean,
yeah.
What, the one deal they traded Ego for Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that, the reason why they were able to get Legion greenlit and The Gifted greenlit and all that is because, they made deals like, hey, we've got some of these cosmic characters that we're not going to use. Let's trade some of those for something else,
From my understanding that it's a deal with all cosmic characters, like all of them are available. So that brings in one big thing, which just, it's a little side off topic, but it also can play into the Guardians and this, cosmic, what they've got 10 years of cosmic movies they're planning out or something like that. But it's the Kree and Skrulls.
Nice.
So we could see a Kree versus Skrull war type thing from the comics, stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So
that was really cool.
that would be awesome. That would be a great, cosmic type movie. So, but yeah, that's beside the point. We'll speculate on that type of stuff later. But yeah, that Stan Lee and the Watchers. Yes, I was definitely digging that one. What about we had some characters that all formed together at the very end, but they were separated for most of the movie. We just didn't really see them. And of course, I'm talking about the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, we had all them, including Sylvester Stallone as, he's playing Starhawk, which he's not Starhawk yet, but we could see him. I forget the rest of the characters.
Yeah, we talked about him in the preview episode, so I recommend going back and listening to that.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I'm not familiar with the Guardians comic book, so I wouldn't be able to rattle them all off, unfortunately. But yeah, we got to see, Ving Rhames in there as a character, and Michelle Yeoh in there as a character, and of course Sly, and there were a couple other ones,
was Charlie 27.
Mm-hmm.
We had Michael Rosenbaum as Martinix, or is it Martinix?
I have no idea.
Martinex. I'm not sure.
Was that the shiny prism looking dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was Michael Rosenbaum, which no one knew what his character was until then. Then we have Michelle Yeoh as Alita Ogard, which is the other half of Starhawk.
Right.
And then Miley Cyrus as Mainframe. So one of the other Guardians there, which was interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, Miley Cyrus, okay.
So
sure.
Guardians Volume 2, one of my favorite MCU movies, but I think the fact that Miley Cyrus is in an MCU movie, I think that means the DCEU is better. Until they put Bieber in a movie, then I think we're gonna have to say that the DC. No, I'm just messing around.
At least you didn't see her. It was just her voice.
Yeah, and they modulated it enough too. She wasn't twerking back there or something.
I know, no kidding. That would have been
I did do some digging and some consulting with a friend of mine who is a lot more familiar with the Marvel cosmic aspect, and I guess the. You know how Starhawk is Stakar and Alita or whatever her name is? I guess them merging together to become Starhawk was a recent thing. And way back when they first appeared, he was just Starhawk. There was no merging. So that was interesting to learn. Because some of the computer articles that I was reading didn't really explain that very clearly to me. So apparently they're actually two separate characters. So that would be pretty cool to see a movie because you get Starhawk and just another badass character too. So.
Yeah. Which he technically is the son of, not Aisha, but the character in the comics. I can't think of her name. The one that Aisha is based off of. I can't think of her name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
The perfect race. She actually came after another character that we got the little spoiler towards the end, the end credit scene. I can't remember her name. That's gonna bug me. I'll find that. Yeah. It's not coming up.
Yeah. If anyone knows, they can comment on the video, and that would work.
Yeah, let us know because I can't remember her name. Oh, Kismet. Kismet.
Kismet, yeah.
Yes. So, Starhawk's actually the son of Kismet, which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, which would explain why he's able to do what he is and become Starhawk without actually having to merge. That's just something that kind of came about a little bit later. So that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Which this is different, of course, in the Guardians. So we don't even know if we'll actually see him as Starhawk.
Right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
That's who knows on that one.
Maybe that's why Sly quit the Expendables, though, because he's signed on for more movies with Marvel.
It could be.
That would be badass, dude.
That would be. I would not complain. I would definitely not complain at all.
Definitely not.
Yeah, and then I guess I don't want to go too much longer on here. I mean, we're almost towards an hour on the podcast, so
yeah.
So let's. Any other spoilers throughout the regular part of the movie, not including end credit scene, which we'll go into those in a second. I mean, not really.
Not really. Not really any other spoilers to really talk about. I like the journey. I like the way that the characters went. I like after seeing the movie, it makes me appreciate the trailers even more because we live in a world where the trailer pretty much just tells the whole freaking story of the movie nowadays. And this didn't do that at all. There was none of that in this. They're like, hey, here's a couple of fun action sequences, but it's like everything they showed was from like when Peter meets Star-Lord. I mean, I'm sorry, when Peter meets Ego. And
Hi, Peter. I'm
before.
Star-Lord. Star-Lord is Peter.
Like almost everything we saw in the trailers is like scenes from the movie that takes place before that. So it's like the last hour and a half of the movie was like completely fresh, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was something new, different. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't have much for complaints at all on it. It was so much fun to see, and I can't wait to see it a second time and really spot a lot of the Easter eggs and the different little things that we'll see and all the, everything there. So,
yeah.
But speaking of that, we had 5 post-credit scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Which was interesting. We had, of course, the first one, which was Kraglin, and he was trying to control the... That was hilarious.
That was really funny.
And he ended up doing it right into Drax. Drax was like, ah! Was it in his neck?
Yeah, it was like his neck or like right in his chest, like right at the top of the pec or something, like right underneath the collarbone, like somewhere painful.
Something like that, yeah.
And Kraglin just kind of runs the other way like, shit.
Like, well, sorry. Yeah. Well, here you go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, that was awesome. That was so funny. And then we moved into, what was the second post-credit scene? Was that Groot?
No, I think the second post-credit scene was the Ravagers.
Yes, that's the one where we saw the original Ravagers get together. Which I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely sad when we saw Yondu, and then they did that whole like fireworks display type thing. The Ravagers funeral.
How do you not roll a tear when that happens, dude? Like I was so in the theater, like, okay, you're here in this theater alone, don't cry.
Yeah. Oh, no one else was in there?
No, I mean like I saw the movie alone.
Oh, by yourself.
It was a full theater, but I was like the only person in the theater that was seeing the movie by themselves, and I'm like, okay, don't cry over the comic book movie in the theater with all these other people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that was definitely a sad moment. I was definitely... But yeah, it was cool to see those Ravagers all together. I mean...
Yeah.
And then next up we had Groot. Which it was teenager Groot, which... One thing with this movie, it was set in 2014.
Right.
So this was only months after the original Guardians, where Infinity War is set 4 years after that. So we know Groot from his growing and how quick he grows. I mean, that's definitely the future, but his teenager side was classic.
He's got like the emo hair kind of thing, where it's all the leaves at the top are all down, and he's like,
yes.
I am Groot. I'm not boring.
I was like that. I am Groot. Like, really? Yeah. I was laughing the whole time. I was like, that is awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That was really good.
And then we had, didn't we have the one with the Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum, dancing, wasn't it? Or something like that?
No, I didn't get that.
That was after.
The next one that I got was Aisha. With the
because we had
the cocoon.
1, 2, 3, 4. That was the one with the cocoon, which we have Adam Warlock. Mm-hmm. Well, it says Adam.
Yeah, and she's like, I think I'll name him Adam, and it shows like the cocoon and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. My thing is did she go steal his cocoon? Because remember, we saw it in the first Guardians.
We saw something like that, and that was what the rumor was, but I think that because there's such a strong rumor and people want Adam Warlock so much, they're like, no, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to have him created, by the Sovereign there. So, I mean, we saw something similar to it, but it didn't necessarily say like...
Adam Warlock.
Oh, did it say? See, I never noticed that that's what it said.
Yeah, because from what I remember, I could be wrong, but it said Adam Warlock on the actual, because each one of them had a tag
Mm.
underneath it.
Mm.
So,
Huh.
yeah. So, I mean, they could have got it back because the collector's shop was completely destroyed. So they could have went and grabbed him back or something like that, or who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, that makes me excited. It just sucks that we won't see him until Guardians 3. And I know he plays such a big role in Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet, all that stuff,
Yeah.
So, but hey, it is what it is. And then was the final one the Grandmaster?
I didn't see anything with Grandmaster. No, the final
Yeah,
thing.
because he showed up. He was dancing. No, that wasn't a post credits. That was just when he was dancing, when they were all dancing during the credits. That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say the final post credit scene I got was a continuation with Stan Lee, and he's like, "Hey guys, you're my ride home. Right. I still got more stories to tell." And they're just walking away and like leaving him there. And he's like, "Oh man,"
Yeah. What about, as well, speaking of like cameos and all that stuff, what about the part with Howard the Duck?
Oh yeah, that part was cool.
He was in that club, and then you had the Ravagers with all the robot like prostitutes. Yeah. I was like, how did James Gunn get away with that in a Disney movie?
Right.
I was like, he must have like kissed some serious ass for that.
Yeah, making them robots, I think.
Yeah. Like, I'll make them robots. Is that okay?
Is that cool? Like, it worked for Westworld, right? Like, the whole robot sex thing. Like, this is fine, right?
Yeah. Like, hey, this should work. This sounds good.
Yondu's just putting his pants back on. Not happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he was up there with that. Yeah. So, yeah. I think that's about it. Anything else you'd like to finish up with?
No. I thought the movie was great.
Yeah. Me too. I can't wait to see Guardians 3, which is tentatively scheduled 2020. So we'll see it probably May of 2020.
Jeez.
So 3 years down the road.
It's too long.
Yeah, I know. But we waited 3 years from the last one, if you think of it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, 2.5 years, because the last one was August of 2014. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. 2.5 years. And it's not like we're. Yeah. I mean, we'll get lots of movies in between, so it's not like we're hurting for more. I mean, we get 3 more next year, and
yes, we
still got
2 more this year.
At least 2 in 2019.
Yeah. Well, is it 2 or 3?
Yeah.
We've got.
Well, I said at least 2. I can't remember, because I know next year's Black Panther, and then Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and Wasp. And then the year after that is Captain Marvel and Infinity War 2, which isn't Infinity War 2 anymore, but...
Yeah, and Homecoming 2.
Oh, and Homecoming 2
in
2019. 3. All right, cool, yeah. So there you go. So another 3, so yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, can't wait. So hopefully you enjoyed this podcast of ours, this fun little talking about Guardians and all the good stuff about it. We definitely want to spoilers. There's a lot more we could sit and talk about, but it's funny how we can do an hour-long podcast on a 2-hour-long movie,
and barely talk about the story and all that. Yeah. We just kind of talked about what did you think of the character? I liked him. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if you did, please hit that like or follow down below. I mean, if you, of course, watching this on Facebook, share it with everyone. We will be going live for the next Wednesday, and then after that, we're going to be moving to Tuesdays for a while.
Yeah, about 6
weeks.
So
stay tuned for that. Yeah. So, and if it works out, maybe we'll stick it on Tuesdays. Who knows? We'll see. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so stay tuned for all that stuff. For all the upcoming live ones, I will work it better so people will know when it goes live. Better than I did this week. I'm still learning. So hopefully can get it figured out. Also, rest of the social media, at least for YouTube and iTunes, all that stuff is down there. iTunes, please hit us up with a review. Tell us how we're doing. Let us know what you think. We're curious. We want to get this podcast, going, get everything kind of out there. So please do that. Check out Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Ryan's MySpace, Tumblr, all that fun stuff.
Yay.
So please go check all that stuff out. As for upcoming podcasts, next week we are going to be doing a viewer question week. So hopefully get enough people watching that we can get some good questions. Ask us anything nerd. Anything nerd. So let me specify nerd. We're not going to get into, not the birds and bees type thing,
Yeah, we're not Bill. We're not Bill Nye here.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned for that. Then right after that, we have our next Nerd to the Round Table, which we just recorded one this past weekend. Blow on This won't be back until second week in June, I believe, right after E3. So you got a little ways till the episode 3 of Blow on This. But like I always say, please don't forget to unleash your inner nerd, and you will either see us or hear from us next week. Peace.